National Peppermint Bark Day is celebrated on December 1st in the United States. This observance honors the beloved holiday treat made from layers of dark or white chocolate topped with crushed peppermint candy. Peppermint bark is especially popular in winter due to its festive combination of flavors and colors, aligning perfectly with the holiday and Christmas season. Peppermint bark became popular thanks to companies like Williams-Sonoma, which began selling it as a holiday exclusive in the late 1990s. Its layered texture and bright peppermint topping made it an instant classic, inspiring many home bakers to make their own versions. The treat's simplicity, just chocolate and peppermint, make it easy to prepare yet festive enough to serve as a holiday gift or dessert. National Peppermint Bark Day began in 2018 thanks to the efforts of Williams-Sonoma. Chuck Williams, the founder of Williams-Sonoma, played a crucial role in making peppermint bark a holiday favorite. Sweater Vestival is a lighthearted celebration of the iconic sweater vest, typically observed in the colder months. Many enthusiasts link it to the holiday season, often hosting events around December 2nd or during the first week of December. The name combines sweater vest with festival, creating a playful nod to this timeless piece of fashion. Sweater vests originated from knitted sleeveless sweaters worn primarily by British athletes and outdoor workers. They were valued for providing warmth without restricting arm movement. In the early 1900s, sweater vests became popular in sports like cricket and golf, especially in the UK. White or cream-colored woolen vests with colored stripes around the neckline became a classic look. Sweater vests gained popularity in mainstream fashion. They were associated with collegiate and Ivy League styles, often worn with a tie and blazer. Argyle patterns derived from Scottish tartan designs became a popular motif during this time. When's the last person you've seen wear a sweater vest? It's Coats and Toys for Kids Day, and as it reads here, Coats and Toys for Kids Day is observed on the first Saturday in December, and this day focuses on providing warmth and joy to children in need during the holiday season, and community groups, charities, and individuals come together to donate coats, toys, and other essentials to ensure every child feels cared for and supported as winter approaches. So why am I on this video? To the fact that I do work for social services currently, and what I would urge to you is don't give these items to your local Goodwill or your Salvation Army, because they'll just put them on shelves and they'll hang up the clothes and they'll sell them. If you give them to like your local church or even drop them off to social services, those items go directly to where they need to go, and that's in the hands of people that need them and need them quickly. And I do encourage you to drop them off at community groups, charities, churches, and your local social services, wherever that may be. National Dice Day is celebrated on December 4th each year, and this day honors the small yet powerful gaming tool that has been a key part of games and decision-making for thousands of years. Dice symbolizes fate, chance, and unpredictability. Rolling the dice represents taking a risk. Phrases like "the die is cast," attributed to Julius Caesar, indicates an irreversible decision. The first known dice dates back around 3000 BCE in Mesopotamia, modern-day Iraq. They were originally made from materials like bones, wood, and stones. These early dice were often animal bones, specifically ankle bones, used in games and rituals. Each side had a different value, much like modern dice. Around 3100 BCE, ancient Egyptians used dice in Senet, one of the oldest known board games. Senet boards have been found in royal tombs, showing the connection between dice and the afterlife. Dice games in ancient India often used four-sided sticks. Four-sided sticks? How do you do that? In ancient Greece and Rome, dice called tesserae or tali were popular for gambling and games. Romans also used loaded dice to cheat. Roman dice were similar to modern six-sided dice, cubes, and their design spread throughout Europe. Dice were common in medieval gambling and games of chances, often associated with knights and soldiers. The church sometimes condemned dice games, seeing them as sinful. By the Renaissance, dice were widely standardized. They became essential in European parlor games and eventually inspired modern board games. The introduction of role-playing games, RPGs like Dungeons & Dragons, in the 1970s popularized multi-sized dice. D4, D8, D10, D12, D20, yes, I remember these. Today, casinos use precision-engineered die to ensure fair play. Dice continue to connect us with our ancient ancestors, combining luck, strategy, and excitement in games around the world. International Ninja Day is celebrated on December 5th each year. This fun and stealthy holiday honors the legendary ninjas or shinobi of Japan and their influence on modern culture. The foundations of ninjutsu, the art of the ninja, began in the Han period. Early forms of espionage were practiced by military strategists and mountain ascetics known as yamabushi. Ninjas rose to prominence during Japan's warring state periods, a time of constant conflict and power struggles. Unlike the samurai who adhered to the Bushido code, ninjas had more flexibility in tactics and morals, using any means necessary to achieve their goals. As Japan unified, the demand for ninjas decreased. Many became bodyguards, police officers, or even spies for the shogunate. The mystique surrounding ninjas grew through folklore, theater, and later media portrayals. Mitten Tree Day is celebrated on December 6th each year. This heartwarming holiday encourages people to create and donate mittens, gloves, and winter wear to help those in need during the cold winter months. The idea is to decorate a tree with mittens, symbolizing the warmth and care we can provide to others. Some say this day was inspired by the book The Mitten Tree by Candace Christensen. In the story, a lady named Sarah walks through the cold winter weather and spots a few children waiting at the school bus stop. The lady notices that the children want to play in the snow but can't because they don't have any mittens to protect their hands. Feeling sorry for the kids, she knits a basket full of mittens and hangs them on a tree near the bus stop. The woman continues to knit mittens for kids of her town and no longer drowns in the memories of her own children. The significance of Mitten Tree Day lies in the emphasis on community care, warmth, and support for those less fortunate. It's a beautiful way to combine the spirit of the holiday season with acts of kindness and generosity. National Cotton Candy Day is celebrated on December 7th each year, honoring the sweet, fluffy treat that has delighted people for generations. Cotton candy, also known as candy floss in some countries, was invented in 1897 by William Morrison and John C. Wharton, a dentist and a confectioner. They created the first version of cotton candy using a machine that spun sugar into thin threads, which were then collected into the familiar fluffy clouds. The treat was introduced to the public at the 1904 St. Louis World's Fair, where it was sold as Fairy Floss and became an instant hit. The name was later changed to cotton candy to make it more appealing, especially to parents who were less inclined to buy a product named after something magical or whimsical like Fairy Floss. Cotton candy is a treat full of nostalgia, and National Cotton Candy Day is the perfect excuse to enjoy a sugary, fluffy bite of this childhood favorite.
This is no time to argue about time. We don't have the time.
Pretend to be a Time Traveler Day is celebrated on December 8th each year. This fun and quirky holiday encourages people to immerse themselves in the world of time travel, whether by pretending to be from the future, the past, or another era entirely. According to Albert Einstein's theory of relativity, time is not absolute. It is relative and can be affected by speed and gravity. This phenomenon is known as time dilation. Time dilation occurs when an object approaches the speed of light. Time moves slower from the object in motion compared to someone stationary. This means that astronauts traveling at near light speeds would experience time more slowly than people on Earth. In theory, this could allow for time travel to the future. If someone were to travel to space at near light speeds and return, they would have aged less than people who stayed on Earth. Either do that or get yourself a DeLorean, a flux capacitor, and drive yourself 88 miles per hour towards a shopping mall. Christmas Card Day is celebrated on December 9th each year, honoring the tradition of sending holiday greetings to friends and family through Christmas cards. The very first Christmas card was created in 1843 by Sir Henry Cole, a British civil servant. Cole was busy during the holiday season and wanted an efficient way to send his well wishes to friends. He asked artist John Colquitt Horsley to design the card, which depicted a family scene with the message, "A Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to you." This card was hand-colored and 1,000 copies were printed. It was sold for $1, a small sum at the time, though initially met with some controversy for its image of a family with wine glasses considered too sociable. The card became popular and set the stage for the Christmas card tradition. In the later half of the 19th century, as printing techniques improved, Christmas cards became mass-produced and more widely available. They spread across Europe and eventually the United States, where they became a staple of holiday cheer, and somewhere that place Hallmark came along and monopolized the whole thing. Nobel Prize Day is celebrated on December 10th each year, commemorating the anniversary of the death of Alfred Nobel. The day is dedicated to honoring the achievements of those who have made significant contributions in various fields such as physics, chemistry, medicine, literature, and peace. Alfred Nobel was a Swedish inventor, engineer, and industrialist best known for inventing dynamite. Despite his invention's success, Nobel was deeply concerned about its potential for harm, especially after reading a premature obituary that referred to him as the Merchant of Death. In 1895, Nobel wrote his will specifying that the majority of his fortune should be used to create a series of prizes to reward those who have contributed to humanity in the fields of physics, chemistry, psychology, or medicine, literature, and peace. He established the prizes to be awarded annually in these fields with the goal of promoting peace and progress for the betterment of society. On Nobel Prize Day is the Nobel Prize ceremony held in Stockholm, Sweden, for all categories except the Nobel Peace Prize, which is awarded in Oslo, Norway. The holiday food drive for Needy Animals Day is observed on December 11th each year. This special day focuses on helping animals in need by encouraging donations of food, supplies, and other essentials to shelters, rescue organizations, and animal welfare groups. During the holiday season, animal shelters often face increased challenges. More animals are abandoned or surrendered, and resources can become stretched thin. This day serves as a reminder to extend kindness and generosity to our furry friends who need support and care. Many animal shelters rely heavily on donations from the community to care for their animals. Even small donations make a big difference. A single bag of food or a warm blanket can mean comfort and survival for an animal in need. By supporting this cause, you're not just providing essentials, you're also giving hope and love to animals waiting for a forever home. Gingerbread House Day is celebrated on December 12th each year. It's a festive day dedicated to the sweet tradition of building and decorating gingerbread houses, a beloved holiday activity for families, friends, and baking enthusiasts. In 1812, the Brothers Grimm published their famous story, Hansel and Gretel. In the tale, the two children discover a house made entirely of candy and gingerbread, built by a witch to lure them in. The story captured the public's imagination, leading to an increase in the popularity of building gingerbread houses, particularly in Germany. Families began constructing and decorating gingerbread houses as part of Christmas traditions. German settlers brought the tradition of gingerbread houses to America in the 19th century, and it quickly became associated with Christmas and holiday festivities. By the 20th century, gingerbread house kits became commercially available, making it easier for families to participate in the tradition without baking from scratch. National Cocoa Day, celebrated annually on December 13th, is a day dedicated to enjoying and appreciating hot cocoa, the comforting chocolate beverage loved by people of all ages. This observance is a perfect opportunity to warm up during the chilly winter season while indulging in a sweet treat. Cocoa comes from the cocoa tree, native to Central and South America. Ancient civilizations like the Olmecs, the Mayans, and the Aztecs consumed a drink made from roasted and ground cocoa beans mixed with water, spices, and chili peppers. Spanish explorers brought cocoa to Europe in the 1500s, where it evolved into a sweeter drink with the addition of sugar and milk. By the 17th century, hot chocolate became a popular beverage among European nobility. You may ask what the difference is between hot chocolate and hot cocoa. You may have not actually asked that, but I'm going to tell you anyways. Hot cocoa is derived from processed cocoa beans. Hot chocolate is made by melting actual chocolate into milk or cream. Roast Chestnuts Day, celebrated annually on December 14th, is a festive occasion that brings attention to the timeless tradition of roasting chestnuts during the holiday season. This day celebrates the cozy, nostalgic experience of enjoying roasted chestnuts, which have long been associated with winter and Christmas festivities. Chestnuts have been cultivated and enjoyed for thousands of years, especially in Europe and Asia. Roasting them over an open fire became a popular way to prepare them, especially in the colder months. In many European countries, roasted chestnuts are a street food staple during winter. Vendors can be found selling warm, aromatic chestnuts to passers-by. The song The Christmas Song by Nat King Cole, famously beginning with chestnuts roasting on an open fire, helped cement roasted chestnuts as a symbol of holiday warmth and cheer. Roasting enhances the sweet, nutty flavor of chestnuts while softening their texture, making them easy to peel and enjoy. So go ahead, roast your nuts this holiday season, your chestnuts. National Ugly Sweater Day is celebrated on the third Friday of December, making it a fun and quirky tradition during the holiday season. On this day, people don the most outrageous and over-the-top holiday-themed sweaters, often adorned with gaudy designs, blinky lights, and glitter. National Chocolate Covered Anything Day is celebrated annually on December 16th, providing a sweet opportunity to indulge in the deliciousness of chocolate-covered treats. The day invites creativity and fun by encouraging people to dip, drizzle, and coat their favorite foods in chocolate, transforming ordinary snacks into extraordinary delights.
Hello again. I'm Mrs. Butterworth. Know why folks just love my buttered syrup?
National Maple Syrup Day is celebrated annually on December 17th, honoring this sweet and natural treat that's a staple of breakfasts and desserts. This day shines a spotlight on the rich history, production, and versatility of maple syrup, a beloved product derived from the sap of maple trees. Indigenous peoples of North America, particularly those in northeastern U.S. and parts of Canada, are credited with discovering the process of maple syrup production. Indigenous peoples use tools made from stone or hollowed out logs to collect sap from sugar maples. They would often drill holes into the tree using stone tools and allow the sap to drip into containers. The sap was then boiled in large flat containers, often made of birch bark or clay, over a fire to evaporate the water, leaving behind a thick, sweet syrup. Some tribes would freeze the sap in cold temperatures, then scrape off the ice to concentrate the sugar, creating a form of maple sugar.
See how long it takes Mrs. Butterworth to drip down this stack?
When
My
European
syrup's got
settlers
to be
arrived in North
vegetable.
America, they quickly learned the techniques of maple sap collection and syrup production from the indigenous peoples. They began refining the process using metal tools and more efficient techniques to boil sap in larger quantities. In the early 17th century, settlers built sugar houses, wooden structures with large boiling pots, which allowed for greater quantities of sap to be processed into syrup and maple sugar. By the mid-1800s, maple syrup had become an important economic commodity, especially in regions like New England, New York, and Quebec in Canada. The maple syrup industry expanded as demand for the sweetener grew. One of the key advancements in maple syrup production came with the invention of the evaporator in the mid-19th century. This device, typically made of metal, allowed for a more efficient way to boil sap and produce syrup in large quantities. The sugar shack or sugar house became a fixture in rural areas where families would tap hundreds of maple trees during the early spring to collect sap. Early sap collection was done using wooden spouts or taps, but by the late 19th century, metal spouts made of tin or aluminum replaced wooden ones, increasing the efficiency of sap collection. Today, Canada remains the world's largest producer of maple syrup, particularly in the province of Quebec, which produces more than 70% of the world's maple syrup. The U.S., especially in states like Vermont, New York, New Hampshire, and Maine, is also a major producer, with Vermont being known for its high-quality syrup. Modern maple syrup production is a sustainable practice, with trees typically being tapped for many decades. Sugar maples can live for over 200 years. Proper tapping techniques ensure that the trees are not harmed by the process. Maple syrup is graded based on its color and flavor. Lighter syrups, typically known as golden, are harvested early in the season, while darker syrups, known as robust, are harvested later. It remains one of the few natural sweeteners that is enjoyed in its purest form and celebrated globally, especially during the holidays like National Maple Syrup Day.
Buddy the Elf, what's your favorite color? Put that down.
Hello? Hello?
Answer the telephone like Buddy the Elf Day is a fun and quirky observance celebrated on December 18th each year. Inspired by the beloved character Buddy the Elf from the 2003 holiday movie Elf, this day encourages people to answer their phones in the cheerful, enthusiastic, and sometimes goofy way Buddy does in the film. Elf was directed by Jon Favreau. It stars Will Ferrell as Buddy, a human raised by Santa's elves, who learns about his origins and heads to New York City to meet his biological father, James Caan. Elf was released in the United States on November 7th of 2003 by New Line Cinema. It became a major critical and commercial success, grossing $2,020 million worldwide against a $33 million budget. It has been hailed by many as a modern classic and is often listed as one of the best Christmas films of all time.
Why are you smiling like that?
I just like to smile. Smiling's my favorite.
National Hard Candy Day is celebrated on December 19th each year, a sweet occasion dedicated to enjoying and appreciating the timeless treat of hard candies. From traditional flavors like peppermint to fruity options like lemon drops, hard candy has been a favorite snack for generations. The concept of hard candy can be traced back to ancient civilizations where sweet confections were made by boiling sugar or honey. The Egyptians and Persians were known to use honey and sugar to create various types of sweets, although they were not exactly the hard candies we are familiar with today. The process of sugar boiling to create hard candy likely began in Asia and spread to the Middle East and Europe. Sugar and honey were used to preserve those fruits and make those sweet candies. By the late 1800s, hard candies became commercially popular in the U.S. as more efficient sugar production methods emerged. Companies like Jolly Rancher and Lifesavers became household names in the 20th century, creating iconic hard candy varieties that continue to be loved today. Some websites say National Regifting Day is celebrated on the third Thursday in December. Some say the day is celebrated the Thursday before Christmas. Let's all agree it takes place in December, and this is a better day than any. The concept of regifting isn't new, it's been around for centuries, although the term itself only gained popularity in the 20th century. Regifting Day was mostly seen as an office holiday before 2008, which was a day that Colorado Governor Bill Ritter Jr. declared National Regifting Day. The origin of the day came from office workers who were given gifts that they didn't really want but didn't want to throw away, so they regifted their present to someone who would want it and make good use of it. The term regifting was popularized by an episode of Seinfeld, specifically the episode titled The Label Maker, although the practice of it predates the term quite substantially. National Regifting Day is all about having fun and the idea of sharing gifts, whether it's through passing along something you don't need, hosting a regifting exchange, or simply donating unwanted items. Go Caroling Day is celebrated on December 20th each year and is a festive occasion that encourages people to spread holiday cheer by singing Christmas carols. Caroling is a beloved tradition that brings communities together, creating a joyful atmosphere and spreading festive spirits to friends, family, and even strangers. The tradition of caroling dates back to the medieval and early Renaissance periods, although it didn't always focus on Christmas. In those days, people would go door to door singing songs of celebration, often for various holidays or social occasions. The term carol originally referred to a type of circle dance with accompanying songs, and it wasn't until the 19th century that caroling became closely associated with Christmas. Many of the carols we know today, such as Silent Night and O Come All Ye Faithful, were written during this time. Caroling is a staple holiday tradition in many cultures. I know you want me to come to your house and spread my lovely voice and my Christmas cheer. Humbug Day is celebrated on December 21st each year and is a lighthearted occasion dedicated to the famous phrase, "Bah, humbug." The term made famous by Ebenezer Scrooge from Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol is used to express disdain or frustration, often in the context of holiday festivities. It is a fun way to embrace the more grumpy or cynical side of the holiday season. Scrooge's transformation throughout the story, where he moves from being a grumpy, Christmas-hating figure to someone who embraces the spirit of Christmas, is central to the theme of A Christmas Carol. The term humbug in this context implies something that is a fraud or a deceptive pretense, with Scrooge seeing Christmas as a fake, unnecessary celebration. Although the Dickens character Scrooge is credited with popularizing the phrase, "Bah, humbug," it wasn't a new term at the time. The word humbug itself dates back to the 18th century and was used to describe a fraudulent person or a deceptive trick. Dickens' use of it in A Christmas Carol helped cement it as part of popular culture. National Wreaths Across America Day is observed on the third Saturday of December, and in 2024 it falls on December 21st. This significant day is dedicated to honoring veterans by placing wreaths on their graves in cemeteries across the United States. The initiative began in 1992 when Morrill Worcester, a businessman from Maine, found himself with surplus wreaths near the end of the holiday season. Inspired by a childhood visit to Arlington National Cemetery, Worcester decided to use the extra wreaths to honor the fallen veterans by placing them at Arlington. Volunteers helped, and a tradition was born. In 2007, the nonprofit organization Wreaths Across America was established to replicate this act of gratitude on a national scale. Their mission is encapsulated in three simple yet profound words: remember, honor, and teach. National Cookie Exchange Day is celebrated on December 22nd each year and is a perfect opportunity for cookie lovers to share and enjoy a variety of delicious homemade treats. Some possible holiday fare: sugar cookies decorated with icing or sprinkles. Sugar cookies are a favorite during the holiday season. Gingerbread cookies, a holiday classic, often shaped like gingerbread men or houses and spiced with cinnamon, nutmeg, and ginger. Chocolate chip cookies, the ultimate crowd pleaser. Chocolate chip cookies are always a hit. Snickerdoodles, a soft and chewy cookie rolled in cinnamon sugar. Peanut butter blossoms, peanut butter cookies topped with a Hershey's Kiss, making them the perfect balance of sweet and salty. Thumbprint cookies. These cookies have an indented center filled with jam or preserves, perfect for those with love for fruit-flavored treats. National Cookie Exchange Day is a fun way to share the joy of baking and enjoy the festive spirit of the holiday season. Christmas Eve is celebrated on December 24th and is the day before Christmas Day. For many, it's a time for family gatherings, festive meals, and anticipation as people prepare to celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ on Christmas Day. The tradition of attending midnight mass on Christmas Eve dates back to the early church, where Christians would gather to celebrate Christ's arrival at midnight, symbolizing the moment of his birth. Over time, Christmas Eve became intertwined with various folk traditions, including festive meals, the exchange of gifts, and the anticipation of Santa Claus, who is said to deliver presents to children around the world on Christmas Eve night. Christmas Eve is a night filled with anticipation, celebration, and cherished traditions. Watch a Christmas movie, trim the Christmas tree, but don't forget one thing: don't forget the milk and cookies. And I did check the mailbox about 5-6 times today, and I didn't get my card, so maybe it just got lost, or maybe you didn't send it. Ho ho ho, and here we go. Christmas Day is celebrated on December 25th each year, and is one of the most significant holidays in many cultures worldwide. I'm guessing most of you have heard of it. For Christians, it marks the birth of Jesus Christ, while for others, it is a festive occasion filled with family gatherings, gift-giving, meals, and holiday cheer. In America, the celebration of Christmas as we know it today began to take shape in the 1820s, influenced by several short stories written by Washington Irving. These stories, which appeared in his The Sketchbook of Geoffrey Cran, Gent, and Old Christmas, portrayed warm and harmonious English Christmas festivities. Irving drew inspiration from his experience at Aston Hall in Birmingham, England, where such traditions had largely fallen out of practice. He also incorporated elements from the 1652 tract Vindication of Christmas, which documents Old English Christmas customs, transcribing them into his journal as a basis for his tales. In 1822, Clement Clark Moore wrote the poem, A Visit from St. Nicholas, popularly known by the first line, "'Twas the night before Christmas." The poem helped popularize the tradition of exchanging gifts, and seasonal Christmas shopping began to assume economic importance. This also started the cultural conflict between the holiday's spiritual significance and its associated commercialism that some see as corrupting the holiday. In her 1850 book, The First Christmas in New England, Harriet Beecher Stowe includes a character who complains that the true meaning of Christmas was lost in a shopping spree. By 1960, 14 states, including several in New England, had officially recognized Christmas as a legal holiday. In 1875, Louis Prang, known as the father of the American Christmas card, introduced the Christmas card to the United States. And finally, on June 28th of 1870, Christmas was formally declared a federal holiday in the United States. Elf on the Shelf tradition has its origins in a 2005 book, The Elf on the Shelf, A Christmas Tradition, by Carol Aubersold and her daughter, Shanda Bell. They self-published the book, which tells the story of a scout elf sent by Santa Claus to observe children and help determine who is naughty or nice. The book comes packed with a small elf doll, creating an interactive holiday experience for families. The idea for the elf was inspired by a family tradition in Carol Aubersold's household. Growing up, her family had a small elf figurine that they moved around the house during the Christmas season. Carol and Shonda decided to turn that tradition into a storybook and product that other families could enjoy. When the book and the elf set were released, it gained popularity through word of mouth and grassroots efforts. And then by 2007, the Elf on the Shelf gained national attention after being featured on TV shows like The Today Show. You just gotta come up with one of those ideas, like a pet rock or something, and you make tons of money from it. So here's how Elf on the Shelf works if you didn't happen to be aware. The elf arrives at the start of the holiday season, often after Thanksgiving. Families can name their elf, making it part of the household. The main rule is that children cannot touch the elf, or it might lose its magic. You don't want that to happen now. The elf, however, can be repositioned by adults. Each night, the elf flies back to the North Pole to report on the children's behavior and returns before dawn. Parents often get creative, placing the elf in funny and unique or elaborate setups to surprise the kids each morning. Maybe stick it in the toilet. Then finally, the elf leaves on Christmas Eve to return to Santa's workshop until the next holiday season.
Where can you be? I pop out of bed each morning to see you watch as I try to do as I should. At night you tell Santa the news is all good. Families together, the magic and joy. Christmas is special.
The White Elephant Gift Exchange is a popular holiday party game where participants exchange humorous, inexpensive, or quirky gifts. The phrase white elephant originates from an old legend in Southeast Asia. White elephants were considered sacred and rare, and owning one was a symbol of wealth and prestige. However, they were also a burden, as they were expensive to maintain and could not be used for labor due to their sacred status. According to the folklore, a king might gift a white elephant to someone he wishes to financially ruin, as they would be forced to care for the costly and useless animal. Over time, the term white elephant came to symbolize something that is more of a burden than a benefit. Around the 1920s and 30s, the term white elephant party appeared in American newspapers, referring to events where people would bring unwanted items to trade or give away. And then around the 1950s and the 1960s, the tradition became a common holiday party activity, with participants bringing wrapped gifts that were meant to be funny, impractical, or inexpensive. And here are the general rules of a white elephant gift exchange, if you don't happen to be aware. Each participant brings a wrapped gift, often with a price limit or theme. Participants draw numbers to determine the order in which they select gifts. The first player selects a gift and then opens it. The next player can either steal an open gift or choose an unopened one, and the process continues. Most versions limit how many times a gift can be stolen, or how many times a single player can have their gift stolen. Guess that's up to you. The game ends when all gifts are open, with participants keeping the final gifts they possess. The White Elephant Gift Exchange is popular because it adds humor and surprise to gift giving. The emphasis is on fun, creativity, and interaction rather than material value, making it a beloved tradition for office parties, family gatherings, and holiday celebrations. Isn't that wonderful? Hey, you ever see the show The Office? That's where You know what? That's probably where I'm going to steal the video from. National Candy Cane Day is celebrated annually on December 26th in the United States. This festive day honors the iconic red and white striped candy cane. The candy cane is believed to have originated in 1670 in Germany. According to legend, a choirmaster at Cologne Cathedral gave sugar sticks to children to keep them quiet during Christmas services. To give the candy a religious significance, the sticks were shaped like a shepherd's crook, symbolizing the shepherds who visited baby Jesus. German immigrants brought the candy cane tradition to America in the 19th century. The treat became associated with Christmas due to its festive appearance. The familiar red and white striped pattern and peppermint flavor were likely added in the early 1900s, though the exact origins are unclear. Bob McCormack, an American confectioner, began mass-producing candy canes in the 1920s. His brother-in-law, Gregory Keller, invented a machine to automate the bending process, revolutionizing the production of the delicious candy. National Fruitcake Day is observed annually on December 27th in the United States. It is a day to celebrate the infamous and enduring holiday dessert, the fruitcake, which its name is self-explanatory to what it exactly is. Fruitcake is a dense, sweet cake filled with chopped candied or dried fruits, nuts, and spices, often soaked in alcohol like brandy or rum for flavor and preservation. Many cultures have their own versions of fruitcake with different ingredients and traditions. Fruitcake dates back to ancient Rome, where early versions includes pomegranate seeds, pine nuts, and raisins mixed into barley mash. In the Middle Ages, dried fruits and spices became more widely available, leading to richer versions of the cake. In Europe, fruitcakes gained popularity in the 16th century when sugar from the colonies made it easier to preserve fruit. Fruitcake was brought to the Americas by European settlers and became a staple for special occasions due to its long shelf life and rich flavor. Card Playing Day is celebrated annually on December 28th as a day to enjoy the timeless fun of card games with family and friends. Playing cards are believed to have originated in China around the 9th century during the Tang Dynasty, evolving from paper money games. Cards later spread to Persia and India and eventually to Europe by the 14th century. Islamic cards often featured intricate geometric designs or calligraphy, as religious restrictions prohibited depictions of human figures. Playing cards reached Europe likely through the trade with Egypt, where the Mamluk deck was popular. This deck featured 4 suits: cups, swords, coins, and polo sticks. The 52-card deck we know today developed in France in the 15th century with suits of hearts, diamonds, clubs, and spades. The inclusion of kings, queens, and jacks reflects European influences, particularly from royalty and knighthood at the time. Shuffle 'em up and deal 'em out on Card Playing Day. International Cello Day is celebrated annually on December 29th to honor the cello, of course, its music and the legacy of the renowned cellist Pablo Casals, who was born on this date in 1876. This day serves as an opportunity for cellists, music lovers, and classical music enthusiasts worldwide to celebrate the beauty and versatility of the instrument. The cello was developed in the 16th century in Italy as part of the violin family. Early versions were larger and had gut strings. By the 17th century, the cello had become a prominent instrument in Baroque music, replacing the viola da gamba in many settings. During the classical and romantic periods, composers like Haydn, Beethoven, and Dvorak elevated the cello as a solo instrument. In the 20th century, modern composers like Elgar, Shostakovich, and Britten further expanded the repertoire. Yeah, I know I butchered their names. I'm not a linguist. Shut up. I did the best I could. Falling Needles Family Fest is a quirky and fun celebration observed on December 30th. It marks the end of the holiday season and is a day dedicated to dealing with the aftermath of your Christmas trees, specifically the fallen needles from real Christmas trees. Why Falling Needles Family Fest? Why the hell not? By December 30th, many families who have real Christmas trees start to notice there's trees shedding needles, which can be a bit of a mess. This day provides an opportunity for families to gather and enjoy the cleanup process in a lighthearted, fun way. Yeah, that's really something to enjoy, cleaning. While artificial trees don't shed needles, families who choose real trees each year often face this inevitable occurrence as the tree begins to dry out. The holiday season's festive cheer can give way to the reality of tree maintenance by this date. Look, hey, I don't make them up. I just report them. Have a happy falling. I can't even say it. Have a happy Falling Needles Family Fest.
What the hell?
You've got to ask yourself one question. Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk?
I just want to tell you both good luck. We're all counting on you.
Good luck. You're gonna need it.
I feel for me, this is every day. Today, make sure to beware of black cats, broken mirrors, and avoid all ladders. Unlucky Day on December 31st is all about watching your ass because things may just go down, go wrong. In fact, maybe just stay in bed. Maybe that's not a good idea. A tree may fall through your home and clunk you right on the head. Maybe not take a shower today. You probably really smell, but you'll also probably slip in the shower and hit your head. I suppose we're all screwed. No matter what happens or what we do on this day, it's going to be unlucky. You're watching this video, aren't you? You lost a minute of your life, so you must feel pretty unlucky.